Hey guys, a lot of you have been asking me to make a tutorial on how I designed my farms. So today I'm going to show you guys how I came up with the idea, the design process, how I overcame the challenges and everything like that for the new Mob XP farm that I just posted. There's a link in the description. By the way, if you want to find this seed or any other cool ones, check out the Seed Showcase channel. So obviously the first thing we have to do is create a new world. For this one, I'm going to go with a new, better Mob XP. My keyboard isn't typing. Hello? New, better Mob XP farm that I'm looking at designing. My idea, I want to go with a mob farm that is similar to this one right here. I want it to be similar to this one. I really like the design of this farm with the scaffolding, but it's a bit too big and as a 3x3 trident killer. My idea is I want to make this a little bit simpler. So that's what we're going to work on right now. Okay, so this is actually perfect. I spawned right near an ocean. I'm going to build this farm over an ocean just to make sure no mobs on the land or in caves nearby, anything like that, are going to slow down the rates of the farm. Now, just so you guys know, this is not a tutorial for the farm. I'm going to post the tutorial for this farm either before or after this one, probably before, to be honest, so it should be out. If you want to check out the full video, that'll be linked in the top right of your screen right now or down in the description. Okay, so of course, the first thing to do is to make a little platform down here to run around. And then I'm just going to make a simple trident killer here. And again, I want this trident killer to be 2x2, not 3x3. Because if it's 3x3, it just makes the whole thing so much more complicated. I'm just going to do something like that. Chuck a lever onto it, nothing special. And let's put a lever on the front to turn it on and off. There we go. And then just extend this platform a little bit more. I think something like that should be okay. Now, let's figure out the collection system here. I could do mud. I think it's a lot easier if I just put a hopper underneath one of these blocks. Something really cool that a lot of people don't know, and something that I recently learned actually, is that you don't have to put hoppers underneath all 4 of these spots, since no matter what items you throw here, they're just going to get pushed in a circle, right? So you can just put a hopper underneath one of these blocks and it's going to be picked up no matter what. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Let's go underneath this block. And I guess I could just make a pretty simple, actually, I'll go underneath this one so I don't have to do anything special. There we go. Chuck a couple chests under here so I can still open it because of the piston. There we go. And of course, I can come back and extend this later if I feel like doing that. Now, I'm going to grab some glass and some tinted glass. I'll just go with tinted, actually. What I'm going to do is build this up 21 blocks. Now, the reason I'm doing 21 blocks, I wish I still had, I used to use Foxy No Tail's markers pack. It's a really good pack, but I couldn't get it to work. It tells you spawning radiuses and chunk borders and everything like that. But basically, when you build up 22 blocks into the air, it's the perfect distance with a simulation distance 4, so that mobs are spawning in the farm and pretty much nowhere else. So I'm going to build this up 21 blocks. And of course, I'm lazy, so I'm going to use some commands to do it. It's a lot easier than trying to build the outline of the entire thing. There we go. And now clear at the corners because I don't like when the corners are there. And by the way, the reason we're using tinted glass is because if we used regular glass, the light would come in and again, slow down the rates. And I like the way tinted glass looks over a solid block. So now that we're up here, I guess I've kind of got to decide what I feel like doing for the design, like for the size of it and everything. I want it to flow to 2x2 trident killer and I want to keep it simple. So let's go out 7 blocks in all directions, I believe. Again, use a fill command because I'm lazy. And if you guys are wondering, you can just do /fill and then you can type in the 3 coordinates by hitting tab. So tab does that, tab, tab, and then you can just do the block that you feel like it'll fill in the whole area. And then just dig out the middle. There we go. I think that should be good. What is that? 3, 8. Maybe that's 9. I think that might be 1 too many. Let's check this out though. Let's chuck some water on the sides. Or you know what? Maybe I should do water in a stair up here. No, I don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. Let's try this. Okay, so that is too far. Okay, cool. So I did have the right distance. So I'm going to have to move this back. Just 1 block here. Use a fill command because I'm lazy. Okay, so this was the right distance. There you go. So I'm just going to move this back 1 and make a wall around it. And then I'll just chuck some water like this. Perf. Whoops. That was dumb. I want it to stay simple, so I don't want to have to put stairs all the way up here because it takes like a stack of stairs to get around. So maybe instead of doing that, I just add some water in the corners instead, like this. I think that's going to be good, right? Yeah, and then if I add it on the walls too, I think that should be good. So I think I'll do that. Okay, and then if I add water on these walls as well, that should take it perfectly to the center. Hopefully it doesn't flow over because I don't want to have to add trapdoors. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, cool. So that's the water section done. Perfect. Okay, there we go. Now that we're done this, I'm thinking we do a layer at that level would be okay. And I'm going to do a scaffolding layer. That was the idea, was I want to use scaffolding so the mobs spawn in it and the water just instantly pushes them towards the center. Right. The water pushes them, so I didn't even need to do any of this. God. Okay, so yeah, that was dumb. I actually don't need any of this water. I completely forgot the design that I was going with. I don't need any of this. I don't need okay, maybe I need this layer, but I'm going to break it for now. So with the design process of farms, I mess up a lot, to be honest. It's kind of just a lot of back and forth and understanding the mechanics, and eventually it ends up working out, but it takes a little bit sometimes. So the plan was scaffolding, right? So we're gonna have to fill this layer with scaffolding. Now there is a lot of scaffolding, which is the problem. It's one reason I call it one of the best mob farms and not the easiest or the simplest, because it is a lot of scaffolding, to be honest, but it's a really, really good farm. It's super, super efficient, and it's really easily expandable too, which is why I really like this design. I still think this is too big though. I don't want the layers to be this big. I'm gonna make it significantly smaller. And then I think I'll just add a couple trapdoors over top of the middle. Or not trapdoors, fence gates. Because I don't like how much scaffolding. This is way too much. So it can be just as efficient with a smaller platform for sure. Let's cut 3 blocks off all the sides and see how that ends up looking. So Java designers have world edit, which makes their life a lot easier. We have world edit, but it isn't too great. So I don't tend to use world edit on any of my projects. However, I use a ton of fill commands. The entire time, it's just a bunch of fill commands because it makes it a lot quicker. I mean, as you guys can see, breaking all of those blocks took me like 20 seconds or 30 seconds instead of a couple minutes. And I'm really lazy, so. Okay, I'm liking this a lot better. That's only 5 on all of the sides now. So I guess now we just build up the walls. So what you can do is you can, instead of building a border, if you're designing a farm, you can just fill a whole block and then you can just empty out the middle section. There we go. And now we have the border done. Cool. Now, let's grab ourselves some fence gates. Chuck these over top of the middle here just to make sure that none of the water spills over. There we go. And now I can just chuck water in the corners. That should flow all of the mobs towards the center, hopefully. No, I'm going to have to add... All right, I guess spiders might be a bit of a problem for a 2x2. Oh, I'll deal with that later. Let's chuck down some water on these edges here. So we're going to fill it all the way around the edge here, and that should push the mobs. I just didn't want to have to use that many water buckets, but honestly, not that big of a deal. There we go. Perfect. As long as I can not miss any, that is going to push all of the mobs towards the center and down the center hole. The reason this design is so cool, if I haven't mentioned it, is because the mobs spawn here, and then they just kind of instantly get pushed by the water and they fall down here. And there's a bunch of ways you can speed up this design by adding like ice and solid blocks so the mobs pathfind to the solid blocks, or soul sand so they get pushed up. But honestly, I don't really feel like doing any of that, at least for this design. I'll give you guys the option, but I just want to keep it simple. So this right here is a layer done. That's it. Now we can just go up just like that, and we can actually just go ahead and build another layer, which is awesome. So we're going to do that right now. Now, another very useful tool is a structure block. So I can literally just copy the layer and then paste it above it. So let's do that right now. Change this, and then change you to be like that. All right, so I think if I just place it down right there, I change it to load, and then I load it, that should be right on top of the other layer. Perfect, now it's 2 blocks, mobs have space to spawn. And now instead of having to build every single layer, I can just keep doing this, load, done. And now I guess I didn't explain it very well. With the structure block, you just change this area to fit your whole farm. So I kind of just do something like this, just kind of guess, it doesn't really matter. You have the whole farm, you save it, and then you just load it in. It's pretty simple. So I saved mine earlier, and I change it to load, and then boom, I load it, and there you go. I have a bunch of layers, and now we just keep doing this all the way until I'm happy with how many I have. I think I'm gonna do 5 layers, but obviously you can do however many you want. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. So now that just sped up the process a lot. So instead of having to build all of these layers, I can just structure block all of them in just to test how it works. And I guess there's a solid wall here, so I don't even really have to. That kind of looks cool, actually. I like this design. Let's say this is going to be the final layer, so I'm going to put a roof over top of it now. And that is pretty much the farm done. Now it's just troubleshooting any of the problems that come up, which the main problem I foresee is probably going to be all of the spiders clogging up the area. But we're going to see what happens there. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the other thing I didn't like with the other design was that you had to stand far away for it to work. I want to be able to collect the XP as well. I want it to be a mob XP farm, not just a mob farm, which is another reason why I'm kind of just redesigning the same farm. That's a lot of what I do is I learn in Minecraft while I'm making these farms as well, right? So when I learn new things, I try to redesign the farms, make them simpler, better, easier, whatever I need to do. And so this design should be a similar efficiency to the other design, but just way easier to set up and way easier to build in general, to be honest. So there we go. That should be good. Now set it to nighttime so they can actually spawn. Reset all of the mobs by going peaceful, hard. Let's go down here and start the trident killer, and then we'll just see what happens, to be honest. Okay, now let's fly away and wait for the mobs to spawn, I guess. There we go. Already got a creeper, a bunch of mobs spawning in the middle. You see that? What is going on? Why are you guys getting stuck? What's going on here? Oh, I am not very smart. Right, I completely forgot when I did those fill commands that there's a bunch of blocks here. But you can see, look at all these mobs spawning. This thing's super, super efficient. So I think this farm should turn out okay, which is very nice to see. It's pretty often, to be honest, that I make a farm and I have to scrap the whole thing because it doesn't work out. So obviously I don't want to post a bad farm. And look at this. All those mobs already falling down. Yeah, this is going to be a good farm. That spider, however, could be a bit of a problem. So I might have to figure that out. For now, however, let's hop down here. And look at that. I can stand here. I can collect the XP. The drops went down here. This is looking great. I'm going to stand here and just see if the spider messes up the rates too much. But look at this. Tons of mobs are falling down here. I'm collecting the XP through the blocks. Look at that, already 7 gunpowder, bones and arrows. I'm feeling pretty confident with this one. That's another thing that I totally forgot about was the mobs are sometimes gonna fall to their death. So what I'm gonna do to stop that is just add a water with a sign partway down, just below, just to make sure the mobs don't fall to their death every time. There we go. So now they're not gonna fall to their death. They shouldn't, yeah, perfect. Now, the final thing I have to figure out is these spiders because they are very clearly clogging up the drop chamber and I don't want that from happening. So what are we going to do about you guys? Let's think here. Okay, so a couple things I hadn't even considered until right now. Wow, good drops. A couple things. One, I forgot that we're over top of the water and these guys are still going to be spawning. So I'm probably going to have to lift the whole thing up into the air, which is a little annoying because I didn't want to have to do that, but otherwise they are going to be slowing down the rates quite a lot. But I mean, there's still quite a lot of them coming down, so I guess I'll probably just give you guys the option. Wow, holy. I'll probably just give you guys the option. That was 6 zombies? What the? Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'll probably just give you guys the option to bring it up because it's still really efficient. Like, this is giving me really good drops, and so yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out the spiders. I really didn't want to have to make this whole thing 3x3, but the spiders really are pretty annoying. So we're gonna have to figure this out right now. But I mean, 10 levels, 20 gunpowder, 36. I mean, these are great drops. So I'm really optimistic. Wow. Oh my gosh, this guy's crazy. Okay, I just got an idea that I'm going to try to stop the spiders from spawning because I really don't want to do a 3x3 trident killer. I hate them. They're just so complicated. I'm wondering, what if every 4 blocks, so here I add a slab instead. Is that going to mess things up? Let's see if that's going to mess things up. So I'm going to zombie here. Okay, so that's not going to mess things up. So that would actually work to prevent spiders from spawning. I might do that. So again, like I mentioned, it's all about problem solving, right? I don't want to have to use a 3x3 trident killer because then this hole has to be 3x3. All of these dimensions are going to be different. So instead, I'm just going to try and prevent the spiders from spawning. Because look, they are going to be clogging this up. This will get pretty annoying. So let's figure this out right now. I'll start the video again when I've come up with a solution. Okay, so we're back and some changes have been made, which is looking pretty efficient. Now, I decided to scrap, why does this happen? Bedrock, come on. There we go, perfect. So I decided to scrap the other design with the 2x2 because it was too complicated to try to stop the spiders from spawning. So I've decided to go with this design here. That I'm gonna have to fix that. That is definitely a problem. Anyways, I decided to make a significantly smaller design. As you can see, it's only 4 blocks. Let me turn it to daytime. It's only 4 blocks on all of the sides with a 3x3 hole in the middle so the spiders still fall down, as you can see with that guy. So the difference with this is it's smaller, so you'd think the rates would be a lot slower. However, in 5 minutes of using this farm and holding out a looting 3 sword, a little over 5 minutes, maybe like, 7 or 8 minutes, I got 20 levels, which is a lot of levels. And coming down here, a good amount of loot, half a stack of gunpowder, almost a stack of bones and arrows, over a stack of rotten flesh, and a lot of other things too. So honestly, I'm plenty happy with this design right here. I'm just gonna have to clean it up a little bit, add some walls here, or tell you guys that you can make a roof over top. So I guess I'll cut to when that's done, but honestly, I'm really liking how this is looking. And before, I think it was like 8 or maybe even 9 blocks out to the sides, and really that much loot is just unnecessary. That much scaffolding in all blocks are unnecessary. So I think you guys will definitely like a design like this a lot more. So I'm just gonna polish this up, and I guess I'll start the video again when I have a full complete design. Alrighty, so pretty simple. I just added some tinted glass around so you can still see inside. Now I'm thinking when I actually make the video, I'll give you guys the option to put a big roof over top so you don't have to box in the whole thing. But honestly, I like how this thing looks, and standing over here or standing down there, they work the exact same. The rates are very, very good. So honestly, no complaints. With that, I just thought you guys might be interested in honestly just the whole design process, how I come up with ideas, how I, persevere through different ideas if things don't work. At first it was 2x2, but the spiders in the middle were messing up, so I changed it to a 3x3 and made it smaller. So you kind of just experiment around with a bunch of different things and see how it works. But yeah, I guess that's all for this, little one-off video. If you enjoyed something like this, let me know down below, and I'll be happy to make another video like this showing the process. And yeah, make sure to check out the full video. It should be on your screen right now, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. BlazedMC out.